Hey there, and welcome to the Valiant Entrepreneurs podcast. This week, myself and Tom, we're going to be discussing something crucial in the marketplace right now, and it's going to completely scare you and shock you. So stay tuned for that. My name's Alasdair Cunningham. Welcome to the Valiant Entrepreneurs podcast. I'm joined again today by our co-host, Mr.
Tom Cook.
And I noticed something very interesting has appeared on my desk. And this interesting object is Tom's new book. And it's called It's Time to Win Big. Ta-da. So how many of you want to win big? If you do, you need to get yourself a copy of this book. Now, this book, I can't take it off from there because it's got my whole book on there, right? Is the art and science of winning and achieving your dreams and getting amazing results by the author Tom Cook. Come on, Tom, what's that about?
Well, that is it, and I've realised that so many people they're watching other people become successful, and I really wanted to show people like actually just the practical steps that they can take to actually create some success in their life.
Yeah,
have more money, have more happiness, grow a business, whatever it is that they want to do. And show them how to create that success. And that's why it's time to win big, because I think people are sick and tired of waiting, watching other people be successful, seeing other people create the life they want. I want to show people how they can do it as well.
You know, I truly believe everybody can win big. I truly believe they can.
100%.
And it doesn't matter what your big is, let's say, because you know what's big for you might not be big for somebody else. But I've read a little bit. I've not read all of it. I've read a little bit about it, and I like the principle of behind it's just becoming the biggest version of you and what you actually want and what you want to create. It's not about hitting the £1 million, hitting the £2 million, or hitting the 1% of the world. It's about you just doing what's big for you, and that might mean I don't know, doing something that creates an extra couple of £1,000s a month, because that might be huge for you. And I want people to stop falling into the social media BS where you think everyone's a millionaire, you think everyone's winning, and why not me? Why not now? And I want you to say that to yourself. And I know this book can help you get there.
Yeah, and because I've done things like Kilimanjaro, I've done like a physique bodybuilding thing, and all of that, they were huge achievements for me. Mm-hmm. And there were certain steps that I took, and I just realized that people could just repeat that same process. And it shows how anybody can do it. And actually I think people they want to start seeing some results in their life. And because people are just going through the mundane every single day, usually they're going through a job, they're going to a 9 to 5 and thinking, is this it? Is this what I'm really going to do for the rest of my life?
It's a bit like Groundhog Day, isn't it? The same shit every day.
Same, that was like, for me, it was just same thing day in, day out. Is that all it is? And there is an art to it and there is a science to it. And when you combine both of them, I really believe that you can create big results in your life.
We're going to put a link so you can get this book. It's on Amazon right now. So we're going to put a link to Amazon checkout down below somewhere. Go and click on it and get yourself a copy, and make sure you leave a review as well. Let Tom know what you thought of it. So yeah, it's time to win big. Get yourself a copy of that book. Get it now. Get it now while it's a little bit discounted for a new release. Okay.
Grab it. Start reading.
Grab it, but yeah, that's the next thing. Don't just get it. Actually read it. Don't be one of these people that has the book on your shelf for a year and then say, actually, I might read that one day, because by then you could have won big.
Yeah, it isn't 12 months. You can start turning things around. Easy.
12 months. I reckon
Easy.
3 months.
Easy.
I think you can turn things around in a matter of 90 days. I really do. Today, we're going to speak about the fact that over 10,000 millionaires have exited the UK in 2024. Now, that is a crazy stat. It really, really is, because that's going to have such a detrimental effect on the UK economy, business, and just the general, desire to be in the UK. Because if all the money is leaving, the UK is also already in a bit of in certain areas, in a bit of a shit place. Would you agree?
Yeah, I can see it, and I've spent my whole life here, and I can see in that time it is going off that cliff.
Yeah, and I want to just talk a little bit about the effects that's going to have on the UK. I want to talk a little bit about the UK in general, where we think it's going, why we think it's going that way. But when you look at the stats, like there's only 3 million millionaires in the UK, so I mean that's 5.8% of the population. We lost 10,000 last year. Now, what if we continue to keep losing millionaires? Because I imagine we're losing millionaires faster than they're getting created, right? Now, if you compare that to China, China's got double the amount of millionaires that we've got, but it's actually a considerably less percentage of the population. So, for instance, in China, there's 6 million millionaires, and that's 0.6% of the population. Whereas in the US, how many millionaires do you think are in the US?
Probably 50, what's the population of the US? Over 100 million, isn't it?
No idea. Oh yeah, it's got to be, no, it's probably about 180 million.
180 million. What's 3 million? Probably reckon 10 million in the US.
So number of millionaires in the United States, 21,951,319.
Yeah.
And that's a total percentage of 8.5%. So 8.5% of the population. So roughly 1 in 9 people are a millionaire in the US. That's amazing. That's really good.
It's a big stat.
That's a big stat. But why do you think, well, firstly, right, it takes a lot to be able to say you're a millionaire. I know these numbers are thrown out like, hey, it's no longer as unique as it once was. Like back in the 70s and 80s, if you could sit there and say, you know what, I'm a millionaire, that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Now it's like, we've got 3 million millionaires in the United Kingdom, and it doesn't take a lot to say now you're a millionaire. You've only got to own net assets of £1 million or more. So what do you think why do you think they're leaving? Why do you think they're all abandoning the United Kingdom?
Tax, weather.
Tax and weather. Do you think weather's such a big factor in it?
I do. I do now. I think the older the people get, especially over the last couple of years, the summer's been a bit shit. It's maybe we've had like a week of sun. Hasn't been great.
Really?
And I think people are getting to the point where they just... And now the world's opened up more as well. It's easier to go to another country. I know people are going to Portugal, Dubai, Spain. Spain don't really like tourists so much anymore. They're getting a bit anti-tourists, but anti-Brits. But I do think it's the weather, and I think a big thing is tax. I mean, not all of them, but the vast majority of those millionaires will be business owners.
Of course.
There will some people be employed in jobs,
yeah.
but most of them will be business owners.
Yeah.
And the tax in the UK is now, they're just going, screw this, I'll go somewhere else.
Okay, fine, I get the weather aspect because it is a bit bloody miserable here sometimes. Yeah. Absolutely. I get the weather aspect, right? But I don't for 1 minute think that's the driving factor, driving millionaires.
It won't be the number one driving
I think it's definitely
away.
one of them, but I don't think it's the main.
It's a supporting argument.
It's a very much so, yeah, I agree with that. But I think by far the biggest reason why people are leaving this country is because the United Kingdom is becoming so entrepreneur unfriendly. It is becoming anti-business, anti-capitalism, anti-entrepreneurship. It's becoming a place where doing business is becoming harder and harder and harder because in every angle, you're getting fucked. That's the reality. You're getting taxed on taxed. Your customers are getting taxed on tax. You're getting VAT on VAT. It's absolutely insane what's happening right now. Like, if you're an employee, right, one, you're losing so much. Let's say, take your employee, right? You're losing so much sort of tax and NI on your wages. And then when you go and spend them wages, what you've got left, you're getting taxed at 20%. You're getting VAT at 20%. Like everything's taxed. It's just becoming ridiculous. And then from a business owner's point of view, you've got so many things that are going against being in business, and it's actually making businesses want to downsize. Like I know from my point of view, like it's no longer like the fruitful land that it once was comes from a business point of view, because you've got too many things going on that are there to just punish you, and not just punish you, but just constantly rinse you of money. If you employ people, you've got all their taxes, plus you've got employer's tax, then you've got all their liabilities, then you've got all their holiday pays, then you've got all their, their sick pay, then you got, if they want to play the mental health card and, have 6 months off work, you can't dismiss them. You've got all the employee rights that are just there to cost lots of money. Now, I know what you're going to be saying. If there's employees watching this, they'll be saying things like, oh, I bet he's a great boss to work for. And they'll be critical, but They're looking at it from an employee point of view, not a business point of view. Bear in mind, these millionaires are leaving the United Kingdom. What are they then doing before they leave the United Kingdom? Most of them are closing or downsizing their businesses. What's that doing? That's putting jobs back on the market. That's taking jobs away from the market. That's putting employees back on the market without jobs. So I know, like, for instance, a local printing company, he employed 32 people. He has literally had enough. He's had enough of all the employee rights. He's had enough of constant sicknesses. He's had enough of people playing the mental health card every 5 seconds. He's had enough of people not showing up. He's had enough of people just not doing what they're getting paid to do. Then factor in all the taxes, all the PAYEs, all the national insurances, all the VAT bills, all the problems that come with running a business, the increasing cost of renting premises, the increasing cost of business rates, the increasing cost of getting rid of your waste paper, the increasing costs of everything. And he's basically said, you know what? Fuck it. I can go to a different country where they like entrepreneurs, where they encourage entrepreneurship, where they tax them at a fair rate, where they empower you to employ people, not disempower you to employ people. And I can run my business with far less overheads, with far less staff, and make far more profit.
Yep.
And he's off.
Yeah.
And he shut his business down. 32 people now don't have jobs. Why? Because the government do not like businesses. Simple as that. Now, if you voted, if you're watching this and you voted Labour, well done, thank you, because you're part of the problem. That's the reality.
Because I was always an employee, and I never really saw it, because I hadn't started a business at that point, so I'd never understood it from the business point of view. But then I realised how important these business owners are, and a lot of people slate them. Employees slate them. Oh, my boss does this, won't let me do this, my boss won't give me a pay rise, all of that stuff. But actually, these business owners create jobs, they create an economy, they create wealth, they create so much.
Yeah.
And now that's leaving.
It's just it's also the ongoing, like let's say the collateral damage, right? So the collateral damage of all this, right? Again, so I know a lady who run a hotel, and that hotel was, I can't remember what area it was in, but it was in a really good area and it was really profitable. Okay, but all the changes, all the rule changes, the tax changes, the employee rights changes, all the things that have been set out to test her, it just squeezed her profit margin so much. So she's actually closed her hotel. Now, her hotel was in a country village, right? And they used to get I think they had about 25 rooms. So they'd get, like, on a daily basis, like 25 to 30 people coming to her hotel. Now, these people were staying in the hotel. There was no restaurants or any means to eat in this hotel. So where do you think these 20 to 30 people were going? They were going to the local restaurants. They were driving business into the local trades. But because she's had to close her hotel because she cannot make profit, or she can't make any sensible profit, and just constantly getting battered by, the government and by the economy, she's had to close her hotel. The hotel's now not going to be operational, right? There's no other hotels in that village, but it was a very popular hotel. It just wasn't making enough money, right? It wasn't making enough money because the overheads were getting ridiculous. Electric, gas, the mortgages, interest rates, all going up, causing the margins to be reduced massively. They've had enough. They've shut the hotel. The building's now going to be converted into flats, right? Now you've got a situation where this small town village, right, is now not going to be getting any of the footfall there. So now the local restaurants are not going to be getting the footfall of people eating in their restaurants every night, because there's only probably 500 people in this village. It's like a very small village town, okay? There's not many, maybe 500 to 1,000 people there. So the restaurant trade in itself is already struggling, but now you've got a hotel that's going to be getting closed in the next 2 months. So that's 25 to 30 people a day that are now not going to be, potentially going to these local places. And it's all just, it's becoming so unfriendly in business in the UK.
It's all the
I'm not saying it,
suppliers.
I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying business in the UK doesn't work. I'm just saying, when you've got, like, the likes of Dubai with zero personal income tax, you've got Dubai with so much more favorable terms when it comes to business. Like, they have, I think it's 9% corporation tax. Right, but you only pay corporation tax on profit. So just pay yourself a higher salary and you'll pay 0%. Like, it's just why? And then factor in what you said, the weather. I mean, look out window. It's probably fucking raining, right? It's probably miserable, right? But you know, Dubai is what, 27 degrees right now. Probably warmer. Probably somebody sat somewhere with sort of shorts and t-shirt on, sat by the pool, paying no tax.
Here's the other thing. It's the if you go to these places, they're a lot more friendly.
Yeah.
It's that culture, and I think British culture, we can be very rude to each other. I think we can be very miserable. But as soon as you go to somewhere like Spain, Portugal, Bali, Dubai, everyone's so nice.
They've just got a bit more time, haven't they? They've just got a bit more like patience and a bit more chilled out. But again, it's just your pleasantness.
And that's not a generalisation. There are generally some people who are lovely here in the UK.
Of course. Like, we're not battering the UK. We're just saying what it's really like at the minute. Now,
we're not battering the UK. We're just saying, but we are.
But we are to a point. Now, I love the UK. My family are here. My business here. And I love the UK. But I'm just saying, I wish it was more. And by all means, if you agree with me or disagree with me, please tell me. I mean,
it's a complete. Since I moved up from London, complete difference in people.
Mate, I know. I was just about to say, we both just recently moved up to Leeds from down south. I was in Nottingham. You were in London. I was in London before Nottingham. And here's what I can tell you, right? The further up north you go, it just gets a little bit more. It just gets more pleasant, doesn't it? Like, you know. I'm going out and then spending a lot of time socialising up in Leeds, and you know, everyone just seems to be a little bit friendlier. Like in London, it's just a bit not friendly. Like it's very, let's just say, I don't know. I can't describe it, but it's just like you're on guard. Like everyone's so busy. They're all hustling 3 jobs to be able to afford to live there, and they ain't got time. They ain't got the time of day for anything. Whereas you come up to Leeds and like you ask somebody a question, you're there for 20 minutes talking to them. I went to Leeds Bradford Airport the other day, right? And I went to the desk to hand my suitcase in, and the gentleman behind the desk said, "Oh, where are you off to today?" And I gave him my passport. He goes, "Oh, you're off to Prague." He went, "That's a lovely city." And he went, really, it's on my wish list. And I was there for 5 minutes. I couldn't get rid of him. And I'm like, I don't want to be rude, but I'm like, mate, I'm running late for my flight. But yeah, it's a beautiful city. And then we were chatting for like 5-10 minutes, and it was just a pleasant conversation. You do that at Heathrow, you're lucky if you get grunted at.
Yeah.
You get grunted at by some moron who's only just rolled out of bed, isn't even like looking at you. Boarding pass, please.
Boarding pass.
Passport. You're overweight. Thanks, mate. What about my luggage? Right? I know what I mean. But yeah, you get me. It's just not so friendly, is it? No, it's just not so friendly.
But,
and I agree. It's just, it's not a tax efficient place at the minute, right? The government need to do something to change that. I think people I think in general, people are just a little bit stressed because the cost of living is getting
stressed because they're getting so squeezed.
Everyone's getting so squeezed. So I'm not just as an FYI, we're not having a pop at the people of the United Kingdom. It's not that. It's the situation that we're finding ourselves in. And I am having a go at you if you voted for Labour. I will say that because you're like, thank you, because you partly created this problem.
We're not having a bash at you, but yeah, we are.
Here we are. But my point, okay, I'm in jest, right? I'm in jest. I'm kind of joking here. But the reality is, it's everyone's struggling. Let's be real. All the people that are in 9 to 5s, most of them are like, not all, but certainly most of them are not struggling to get by, but they're definitely not that far away from, there's a stat, isn't there, that I think it's something like 7 in 10 people couldn't afford to live past 30 days if they didn't have an income.
Yeah.
Something like, I can't remember the exact stat, but it means they've got like basically 30 days worth of income left.
They're living hand to mouth.
And they're living hand to mouth and month to month or week to week. And I have seen that a lot in the last. I feel I've seen that increase a lot in the last couple of years.
I think there's just a general sense that people are fed up. They're just fed up. I think people on the whole, people like to work. They want to have a purpose. They want to do something. And I don't think people mind paying tax to a level, right? Because there are people in Dubai paying 9% on the corporation tax.
Yeah.
So I think there's a level. But we're at this point now where people put all this effort in to build their business, to grow, but there's so much red tape to jump through. There's so many hurdles. And then at the end, hey, you got to pay all this tax. And I think people go,
what's the point?
What's the point? Why don't I go somewhere else where I can put in the same amount of effort and get a greater chunk of reward at the end and serve the same purpose?
One of our good older clients, Ashley Toft, he's obviously recently decided to move out to Dubai, and that was, I mean, he had his business in the UK, and he's still running that business, but he's now doing it from Dubai, and he's also doing teaching out there as well. So he's got multiple things going on. But you know, I was speaking to him the other day, and you know, he's only been there, I think it's 4 or 5 months now. He's loving it. Like he's working less hours than he's ever worked. Right? I mean, he didn't do a lot anyway, but no, I'm kidding, Ash. He's working less hours than he's ever worked, and like he's creating a lifestyle that, like, he's always in nice weather. He's always out doing sport and activity, and he's just generally enjoying life a bit more. Where it just seems that, you know, here everyone has to work 1, sometimes 2 jobs just to be able to survive.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is why I'm so fortunate that, like, we've got like our businesses and our properties, and I'm so fortunate that, you know, years and years and years ago I made the decision that I'm going to take control of my future, and I'm going to take control of my income, and I don't have to rely on a 9 to 5. So I'm fortunate that, you know, I'm just fortunate that I made a decision 20 years ago that I'm not going to allow anybody like the government to control or what happens, because I now control that, and I control if I move out this country and go somewhere else, and I'm not stuck because I'm living hand to mouth. Does that make sense? Because people say money doesn't make happiness, but it sure fucking helps, right? And I'm not saying it makes you happy, but it doesn't, you know. Jordan Belfort said this. He goes, I've been a rich man, I've been a poor man, and I would choose rich every day of the week.
Yeah.
And again, anyone that's had money or makes money, they would say the same thing. And it's not about ego. It's not about power trip. It's about, you know, when you're rich, when you've got money. And I say, again, when I say rich, I don't mean, you know, rolling with millions. I mean, when you're just comfortable and you could say you're technically, let's say, rich, then you can fight your problems with money, because there's not many problems money can't fix. Health being set aside, there's not many problems that money cannot
health as well.
fix.
Like,
even
you
health,
get private healthcare, you can get the treatments. So even health.
but even you're right. You're right. I mean, I've got private healthcare, and if I, like, you know, I can get that, I can fast track and get that sorted out. Money fixes that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But when I say health, I meant like if you've got like terminal cancers and things like that, money's not going to really help you there. It can get you the best treatment, but it might extend your life by a few months, but it's not going to, you know, it's not going to bring you back to life or whatever. But my point being is, like, it's generally the people that have got no money that say money doesn't make you happiness. But, you know, it helps because it opens doors. It can fix most problems. Like, if I was to ask people watching this right now, what's one of the, give me 5 things that are causing you stress in your life right now, and I'm pretty sure if you had enough money, they wouldn't be a problem. They wouldn't be. So then why?
And I bet money would be number 1 on most people's list.
It would be, yeah, money is the problem. Well, if you had it, it wouldn't be a problem. But like, I get it all the time. So I've got quite a few. I've built actually quite a few like really nice friends actually up in Leeds. I play poker, so I go to play poker with people and things like that. And you start to listen to people, and you listen to what their lives are like, and things like that, and they all, you know, they're looking at life as positively as they can, but some of them are fighting they're just fighting battles that if they just learned how to make a little bit more money, they would not be fighting these battles.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I think in the UK, we're so negative, aren't we? If you go to like Dubai, right, the world is so positive in Dubai. You know, it's so positive. If you go to America, and you go to entrepreneurial entrepreneurships events, or you go anywhere where there's entrepreneurs, it's so positive. Americans in general are so positive. If you go to like a lot of Europe, they're so positive and encouraging to growing and building and developing a business. Whereas it just seems like if you tell your, if you said to one of your family members, I'm starting a business, what's the first thing they'll say tell you in the UK? Be careful.
Yeah, don't do it just yet.
Don't take any too much risk. Are you sure? Stay in your job. Yeah. It's like, just shut the fuck up. Like, why can't we be more positive and empowering to people that want to do something? Like, why can't we aim for everybody to win big? Why do we always have to, try and disempower people? Right? It's such a broke mindset, and I really don't like it.
When I went to Bali to see my friend, I spent a small amount of time over there, and it's that culture that everybody's so uplifting of each other, supporting each other, and just accepting. Oh, you're doing that business. That's amazing. Great. They don't judge it or give them all their opinions. They're just like, oh, you're doing that. That's awesome. Like, go for it.
Do you know what I think is really funny, what you just said? They don't judge you, but most importantly, they're not jealous of you. Right? I find that in the UK, everyone's so fucking jealous, right? But they don't know what you've been through to get where you're at.
Yeah.
They don't know the sacrifice that you've made. They're just they're jealous of the success. They're not jealous of the effort. Does that make sense? Yeah.
But
they're jealous of the result, but they weren't jealous when you were putting the effort in to get that result. And I just wish we had a more positive, empowering environment in the UK. I really do.
As I spoke to Regan about this, and we talked about it, and all these people leaving the UK, and we said, well, look, that it's shit that everybody's leaving, but it still means that for everyone who's left, there's still hope, because means that all these people are living, there's a ton of opportunities.
Well, of course there is.
So even whether you're an employee or you're still in business, there's still a lot of money to be made, and it's still possible. You just got to do it. I think just simplify your life as much as you can. Simplify your business. We've done that recently and massively helped us. Made things a lot easier, made things a lot smoother. And I think it's the same in your own life. If you can simplify, there's still a ton of money to be made.
Look, at the end of the day, there's no denying the UK is going through a tough time right now, okay? We could talk about this forever. Like, we could talk about crime, we could talk about lack of policing, we could talk about, lack of...
talk about the NHS.
The NHS, the lack of services out there. We could talk about all of this. And all of these are factors to why people are looking elsewhere. But fundamentally, it's Great Britain. So why can't we do a Donald Trump on it? And why can't we, like Donald Trump says, make America great again? Why can't we make Britain great again? Because I truly believe it's the best place to do business in the world. I really do. I truly believe that if, we can sort these problems out. And much like Donald Trump's got into the White House and he's kicked ass, and look at the changes that have happened since Donald Trump's got in power. Everyone says he's a misogynist, he's sexist. Who cares? Look at what he's done for his people. Right? He doesn't care about us because we're not his people. He doesn't care about the Mexicans because they're not his people. He cares about America. It's not make the world great again. It's make America great again, i.e., he's the president of America and he's going to make it great again. And you watch this space, he will. And some of you will deny this because you're so blinded by what you read in the media. Some of you will say, oh my God, he's a sexist, or he done this, or he done that. Look at the results. Look at the results. In a matter of weeks, he's been in power. Look at the results. Like, he's done more for America in 1 month than the previous president, Joe Biden, done in 4 years. It's insane. Bring him to the UK, that's what I say.
Yeah. I think in the UK, I think it will get worse before it gets better, but eventually...
Who's our Prime Minister right now?
Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer.
I think it will get worse before it gets better.
Yeah,
but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I think it will just get to a point where people get so sick of it, like that's happened in America. People get so sick of that.
The turn.
And it turns because people demand better. And we'll get there.
I think Britain can become great again. I really, really, truly do. And I hope it does. I'm not planning to go anywhere. I know you're not. So, let's just stick this out. Do what we British are good at doing, and that's stay until the end. We didn't win the war by giving up, did we? No. So let's, don the Spitfire hats, get on the planes, and it's, fight till the day we die to make Britain great again. You heard it here first.
From Churchill.
Yeah, Churchill, yeah. Let's put that quote up there somewhere. Let us know what you think. Maybe you think we're absolutely fucking talking nonsense. And if you do, I don't mind. Just tell us in the comments.
Share your opinion.
Share your opinion. If it's good, we'll like it. If it's bad, you can know where to stick it. Anyway, enjoy. Peace out. Much love. See you next time.